It is a Tuesday, and that means it's time to chat once again with Merritt Centennials head coach and GM. Luke Pierce is on the line with us right now. Morning, Luke. How you doing today?
Good. Thanks, Brian.
Thanks so much for joining us here. Now, let's look back at last week. It was a busy one for you guys. Let's start off with Tuesday night game, which seems like it was a lot longer than a week ago, but a 6-0 loss in Vernon.
Yeah, it was, obviously the first time in a while that our guys have suffered a defeat that you could consider a blowout, and I think it was a really valuable lesson for the team, and give Vernon full credit for the way they played and executed, and there's a reason why they've won back-to-back national championships here. So it was a good thing for our guys to see a team at that elite status and the way they work and execute their systems and stick to a game plan. And I think we took a lot from it, and hopefully it was going to make us a better team here.
So how about the bounce-back game on Friday, your first game up north on that road trip in Quesnel? You find yourself down 2-0 in the second period, but a really good pushback in that one from your guys.
Yeah, it was a bit of a difficult, such a contrast of games compared to Tuesday in Vernon. I thought Tuesday's game was such a well executed and a structured game, and then Friday in Quesnel it was complete chaotic from start to finish. It seemed like more of a physical affair, and just really our guys I think struggled to get into it early on because of the lack of structure. And we've done all year, we've found a way late in the game to give ourselves a chance to win. And Knox Vallis came up big in overtime after a nice play by J.P. Whitcop, and we were fortunate to get out of there with the 2 points.
How about Saturday night in Prince George, the first game that we've seen a scoreless tie through 60 minutes, and in my recent memory, I can't even remember when that happened, but also the first time that you won in Prince George in 5 years. And again, are you just happy to get the 2 points in a game that probably was not a work of art?
Well, I think I was a lot more happy with our effort on Saturday than Friday. I thought that we had a lot of scoring opportunities. So did Prince George. The game really shouldn't have been a 0-0 tie at one point, but both goaltenders played very well. Tyler Steele was outstanding. Kirk Thompson made some saves that definitely kept them in the game. And again, we were fortunate to have a nice goal by Evan Stack to get the win, but I thought that the game was a lot better than what the scoreboard indicated, and I think we moved that right into Sunday and played our best of the three.
Now, maybe talk a little bit about Evan Stack. I mean, that was an absolute beauty that he scored there for the winning goal. And do you think that the way that he's come on in the last little while, it's just sort of showing the fans here in Merritt and scratching the surface of what he can do in this league?
Yeah, I think Evan's he's a pretty special player. He's a special kid. He's pretty dedicated to the game, very dedicated, and he takes it very seriously. He struggled early on with some injuries, and I don't think he had a point in his first or a goal in his first 21 games, and you could never tell that it was affecting him. I'm sure it was, but he continued to work meticulously in practice. He continued to do all the little things on the game, and then eventually found himself on a line that with two very good players as well, and didn't miss a step. And I think he's pretty much been a point-a-game player ever since he's joined them there. So we hope that he can be a guy that can really carry the offensive burden here, not only this year but into next year as well.
Well, that's exactly it. And it was he started basically this streak of a point a game in that game at the end of November. For Country Christmas weekend against Prince George with 2 goals there, and now he's been at that pace for some 2 months now, so that's pretty good to see. Now, how about Sunday's game? You guys had a 3-0 lead in that one, and you did exactly what happened with Quesnel when they were here. They had a 3-0 lead as the road team, and only to end up with a tie in that one. But obviously at the game that was here in Merritt, you guys came away with the 2 points. But you mentioned that was probably the most well-played game of the 3 days, but you didn't end up with a victory.
Yeah, and it definitely felt like a loss afterward. To tell you that, I went for a walk and kept thinking it's tough to lose that one, but we really didn't. I mean, we tied a game, and our third game in 2.5 days, and thought we played very well throughout the second period and managed to build the lead on some great plays and some nice individual efforts. And Dustin LeBron had a beautiful goal. And then I think the wheels just kind of fell off a little bit with the fatigue. I mean, we were starting to take some longer shifts, especially on our penalty kill, and the goals that they scored, none of them were really pretty. It was just those tired, tough to battle type situations where they end up getting the puck and putting it in the net. So, it was tough to see that one get away from us. But again, when it comes to playing up there, you'll take anything you can get, and it's hard for people to understand just how difficult it is. And like you said, the first time we've won in Prince George in 5 years, and I'm sure it's the first time we've had that kind of success in Quesnel in some time as well. So it's definitely a building block going forward, and we're just happy to get out of there with the 5 out of 6.
Well, it certainly makes the road record look a lot better, too. And, I mean, it's tough to say when you look at it. It went to overtime for all 3 nights. But, I mean, overall, big picture, it's probably helping your guys when it comes to the mental game, right?
Well, yeah, I think there's 2 things. One, it's good practice for us in close, tight games as we approach, playoffs and things like that we expect to be close anyway. And, give us the composure to play in those. And we had, a good lesson Sunday is we haven't had a lot of leads that we've given up, and mostly it's been us coming from behind, and now we need to get used to carrying a lead in the third period and protecting that. And the other thing I think it was really good for us mentally, and probably just as much for myself and our staff, is that last year we had a 17-game losing streak, and you don't get rid of those things by just an absolute blowout of a team. I think these are all things that go in incremental bits, and I'm not concerned about the fact that we had to do these in overtime. It was just nice to get wins up there and move forward here.
Now, this is still a really crazy stretch for you guys. You're in the midst of 7 games in 10 days, and you've got another one coming up here tomorrow night at home against the Trail Smoke Eaters. What sort of message? I know you gave the guys a day off yesterday, but you're back at it for practice today. I mean, what do you work on at this point when you've got so many games in such a short period of time?
Well, the biggest thing, we just got to be, really cautious and with our injuries and things like that. So, we've, like I said, try to find days we can give guys off. And then as far as our work in practice, we just got to fine tune some system detail and structure. And, we'll probably take Thursday and have a bit of a light day and have some fun and just keep guys loose and enjoying it still, because it does get real busy, and we can't continue to just drill things into their head every day. So we'll have some fun. We'll continue to work on small things. We'll do some video and just kind of give a variety of stuff here as we get into this busy stretch.
Now, how about the Trail Smoke Eaters? They're a team that you guys are playing tomorrow night here at home, and they're a team that's actually starting to really sort of climb the standings once again in the Interior Conference, now up to 3rd place, and you're coming off a 3-1 victory over them in Trail a couple weeks back. So what are you expecting from that club there? Well,
they've been a bit of a funny team this year. They've had some real strong stretches and some tough stretches, and we have to prepare for them to be at their best. And they have been playing some good hockey lately. We're sure that they're going to be hungry to come up here and get a win, which they haven't been able to do yet. So at the same token, we obviously want to keep our strong home play going. So I think it's going to be an outstanding game, and we expect them to definitely bring the best that we've seen yet this year.
Well, and I think that looking at that, you mentioned a strong home game, and I would hope that a good crowd comes out tomorrow night, because I'm thinking, I agree with you, that it's going to be a fantastic game. The other thing to consider, when you look at the standings, you guys are now 10 points back of Westside with a game in hand. I mean, that 5th place is really within reach now.
Yeah, I think it is. It's getting there, but again, we don't want to get our guys too caught up on that. We want to continue to make sure we're focusing on ourselves, and I think you look at the schedule, and there's a reason why we play all the games, but at the same token, Westside has a lot of games against those teams from up north, and you feel that they're likely going to get points out of there. So we can't worry about what they're doing, or Trail or Salmon Arm for that matter. We have to go out there and try and establish ourselves as a force to be reckoned with come playoff time, and we're going to have to do that by beating these teams, because there's a good chance we could face any of them.
All right, Luke, appreciate you taking the time to chat here this morning. Before I let you run, anything else that you wanted to add about? We've got home games coming up tomorrow night, also on Saturday night, and then also Sunday too.
Yeah, it's a busy stretch, and we understand it's tough to come out to every night, but we're glad to be home, and we'd love nothing better to see a big crowd here for Wednesday or Saturday or Sunday.